Welcome to this edition of Tips Tuesday. I am excited to talk about how to use your home equity to become an investor and purchase rental properties. I'm excited to talk about it, and I hope that you stay tuned. Tips Tuesday, we are talking about how to use your home equity to become an investor or begin purchasing rental properties. This is a great topic that I come across a lot, and I think that this is a underserved, part of community because it is so doable, so possible, and a lot of people don't realize that it is very achievable. So if this is one of your goals, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned. One of the biggest things that Kim and I talked about, Kim here is with BOK Financial Mortgage, and we are excited to talk about the real estate side and the lending side about how to actually make something like this happen. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is setting up your long-term goals. If this is something that you've thought about, or maybe you have thought intensely about it, then this is something I want to tell you, that establishing those long-term goals is very important. So if you are, hey, I just want to get started, I just want to buy my first rental, hey, that's a goal, that's a first start. Maybe you have talked about it, you're like, you know what, I'm retiring in 15 years or I'm retiring in 5 years. What does that look like? What do I want to establish as my income during that time? You got 5 years to plan, so let's set a goal. Do you want to have one rental, two rentals? Do you own a house now? How can you use that equity in your house to actually help you achieve that goal? And that's kind of what we're talking about today. One of the biggest, questions I get is, I have to qualify for 2 mortgages, right? I can't afford to buy a rental because I have to qualify for 2 mortgages. Well, you actually don't. You actually qualify based on the rental income, so you don't have to make enough to afford 2 houses. That is a no-brainer. Most people don't know that. You don't know what you don't know, and that's why we're doing these videos, because I want to make sure you understand and people know that it is very achievable to buy a rental using the equity in your home without having to qualify for 2 mortgages. So Kim is going to talk a little bit on the mortgage side as to how that looks, and Kim, take it away.
So like Kevin said, you have your goals, right? Let's say I'm going to just use myself personally. So my goal is to own 5 rental properties in the next 10 years. So how do I do that? Well, you start with what you have. So you own your home right now. How much equity do you have in your home? And what does that equal in buying power? That could mean that you are going to do a cash out refinance, and you're going to tap into that equity, and you then can buy 1 to 2 investment properties. There's different factors that we can look at. Are you wanting to own condominiums? Are you wanting to own townhomes? Are you wanting to own single family homes? So have an idea of what you want, and also an idea of what you want to net. And as for me personally, my thought process is I need to create a residual income for me and my husband, so we are able to retire and have money still coming in during retirement, because our age, we don't know if there's going to be Social Security. If you haven't invested heavily in an IRA or a pension or retirement account, what's going to be there for us? Well, if you start your investment portfolio and you have that residual rent coming in, you then have a way to retire.
And real estate is one of the safest type of investments. I know we've gone through a lot with COVID-19 and seeing the stocks tumble and seeing the markets crash and things like that. All through that, real estate has been strong. We have not seen a dip in real estate other than transactions, because people can't go out to see homes and things like that. But homes are still selling, homes are still closing, and they're still holding their value. They're still increasing in value. There's only been one time in the past, I think it's, I don't know how many recessions, that home prices declined, and that was in the 2007-2008 recession. Other than that, real estate has continued to climb, continued to increase, And so it is a very safe investment, especially if you're holding on to it for the long term. Fix and flips, things like that, change a little bit as far as market conditions and being more sensitive to that. But buy and hold strategy, which is kind of what we're talking about, is actually investing for the long term. You're going to see your investment increase over time, and it's a great way to build wealth.
It really is. And we can talk a little bit about appreciation too. So we go from, that 2008 recession that we had, and you think about when the prices or the home values decreased, not only did they come back, they came back stronger than ever. So long term in Colorado, you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, about a 4% appreciation.
Yep.
So not only by, using your tools, being your home equity, and utilizing tools that Kevin and I can provide to you as far as what that appreciation is. But with that appreciation, let's use this scenario real quick. Okay, we're gonna you have a property and it's valued at $400,000 and you owe $150,000 on it right now. And you want to get some cash out. Well, potentially you can get enough cash out of that by going to an 80% loan to value cash out refinance to purchase 2 investment properties under $200,000. There are investment properties out there in those price ranges right now.
Some have been on the market a few weeks, so yeah. I mean, it's still a great market for that, especially if you don't have to go FHA. If you can get a conventional loan, it opens up more options as to the types of properties that you can get, since most townhomes and condos are in communities that may not be FHA approved because they have a high renter rate and not owner occupancy rate. And so if you can get cash out refinance and you're not using FHA or down payment assistance types of programs, you actually have a lot more options as to the kind of properties that you can get to help you achieve that goal.
Absolutely. So, in that scenario, you have these 2 properties where you now are having that appreciation grow. So in about a 5 to 7 year time frame, you can maybe then cash out again to buy another investment property. But there's another way to do it too.
Yes, so that's kind of what we're here to do, is provide ideas and make sure you understand that there's so many options out there to make this happen, but so many people don't do it because you just don't know. And so that's why I'm big on doing these kind of videos, educating clients, educating people, because your wealth matters to me, your futures matter to me, and it's my job to make sure that you know about those opportunities. So one of the opportunities that I like to talk about that gets me excited is using down payment assistance to actually buy a rental. And so many people don't understand that you can actually get into a home 3.5% to 5% down, and if you occupy it as your primary residence, you can do that every 2 years, and you don't need 20% down to occupy the property. Now, long-term plans, 20% is always the best option because you don't have to pay mortgage insurance and things like that. But if it helps you begin to achieve those goals in 5 or 10 years, if you just use down payment assistance to get those properties, I mean, why not? Why not help use other people's money, like the government, to actually help you get into a home, or use programs that allow you to put less money into it to get your investment property. So there's so many other strategies that I can't get into in this little segment, but I want you to know that there are so many options out there to actually make that happen. And Kim, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else on that.
On that strategy that you were just talking about, so basically you're turning your existing home into a rental and you're buying a new primary residence.
Thank you. Yes, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Just want to point that out. You're not buying that new property because on down payment assistance, you have to buy it as a primary residence. But that's a great strategy to utilize, is that you can do that. And, we're talking about when you get into a certain income level, you may not qualify for this, but that's a great thing. You could maybe not be at that higher income level, and I'm going to use, I believe it's like 72,400. Don't quote me on that. I should have looked that up ahead of time, but I didn't. But if you're under that level, then you can still become an investor by doing this strategy. So don't think that you have to earn over $100,000 a year. Don't think that because you don't have a lot of money to invest or a lot of equity right now that you cannot become an investor. There are strategies in order to do this, and that is, you can tell we're totally hyped up and excited about this because like I said earlier, this is kind of like my personal investment plan or my retirement plan as far as investing in my future. So it makes me super excited, and to share these ideas is even more exciting. Like you said, your goal is to help others build wealth, and by all means, why would you not want to figure out your plan of action to make this happen?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like, kind of like money is sitting on the table and you're not grabbing it because you don't know it's there. And that just drives me nuts because so many people have opportunities to better their financial futures, but they just don't know how to do it. And by just using some simple tools, things that I've learned in real estate and in the circles that I've talked to and been involved in, have come into the knowledge that I have now, and I'm able to help that and translate it into my clients and help them building their wealth. So that is awesome things. And I, like Kim said, we have tools available. I have tools that are available free of charge to my clients that help you analyze your rental property. I highly recommend getting a property manager. First of all, don't do it on your own, regardless if it's your only property. It doesn't matter. You don't want to get a call at midnight. You don't want to have to be figuring out water heaters or emergencies. And it's only 10% of your rental payment typically for most property managers. It is money well spent, and basically they take care of all that for you. You don't want to have to be screening the calls or collecting late rent. You don't want to have to be doing the applications. What applications do you use? What are the laws regarding rental properties and screening clients? You don't know all that. So that's where a property manager is very skilled, and it is well worth the 10% of the rental payment a month. Even if you're kind of tight on your margins the first couple years, it's well worth it, because in the long term, you're looking at this as a long-term rental, and they're still building your equity regardless. So you're still building that cash, that bank of cash that you can use on future rentals or to do whatever you want with later on. So these are great strategies that we're excited to talk about. I have spreadsheets that help you calculate your cash flow monthly, not only this year, but 5 years from now. How does that improve over the next 5 years based on what you're contributing, based on what you've put down, based on so many different factors, based on your carrying costs, or all of those kinds of things. And I also have access to tools that help you figure out rentals for a certain area. Maybe you like a rental, you're like, I have no idea what that'll rent for. I don't know what rents go for in this area. I have tools that I pay for that I'm going to make available to you that can help you figure out what those rental rates are. So these are all things that we are passionate about, as you can see. I hope you can see. And we want to help get you the knowledge and the expertise to make those decisions and achieve those long-term goals. Sorry. And achieve those long-term goals. Those are important for us to help you with, to achieve those, and provide you the resources and the tools that you need to actually make those happen. One of the biggest things is I want to give you access to my personal app that allows you to look at homes based on your GPS. It's right on your phone. You can be in any neighborhood. You can actually just pull the app up and see what's available in that area. Maybe there's like, wow, this could be a good rental opportunity. see if there's any available in that area, and be happy to connect you with that resource. There's mortgage calculators, there's so many resources on there as well. Jim has an app that can help you figure out your affordability, and it's very similar to a calculator that is at your fingertips, and it's something that you can connect with us easily on. So we want to make those available to you. Also, we have HomeBot. If you have a home that you want to know how much equity you have, and you don't trust Zillow, or you don't know if Zillow's accurate, these are very accurate. I review them before they go out initially, but it goes on a monthly basis, and if you have a question later on, I can absolutely check the value for you. But this is something that you don't have to contact me on a regular basis. You get this on a monthly basis. It tells you your equity, if you pulled cash out, how much you could pull out. If you wanted to buy an investment property or a second home, how much you could possibly qualify for. It tells you Airbnb rates, if you've got some extra rooms in your house that you want to rent out, maybe a basement, things like that. It tells you how much you could possibly rent and equity that you can make, or money that you can make yearly on something like that. It gives you your what else am I missing? There's so many
ideas.
tools.
If it makes sense to refinance. If it doesn't, does it make sense to go to a lower rate? Does it make sense to go to a 15-20 year loan? One of my favorite things on there is, hey, if I pay this much more on my mortgage every month, how quickly will I pay it off? That's, being a mortgage nerd, that's one of my favorite things to talk about and look at, is how do you do that? And just remember, as you're paying that down, you're building equity, you're getting appreciation, so that can equal more investment properties. So it's a fun tool to play with, and just the information in there there's just such a wealth of knowledge with HomeBot that you get on a monthly basis. So it's a great tool to check out, and if you don't want to look at it 1 month, don't, but if you get it every month, and at least you have that ability to go in and take a look at it. The clients that have it love it. I hear people every month, and if the value somehow goes down 1 month, I'll get a phone call being like, hey, next month can you make that value go up? It'd be nice to have that power.
And it's nice to have it so that you don't have to feel like you're bothering someone. You don't have to feel like, hey, I don't want to take up your time. It comes to you directly every month, and like she said, you can open it if you want, or you don't have to open it. It's really a great tool that my clients love, and I'm so glad to be able to offer that to them. Every one of my clients that has a home is on that platform, and I want to make it available to anyone that's watching now. You can sign up freerealestatevalue.com if you are interested in getting that digest set up. Again, that's freerealestatevalue.com. If you would like to get my personal app that has geolocation, GPS, home finding, things like that, be happy to get that to you as well. It's an awesome tool. I love it. Again, I pay for that, but you don't. It's a great tool. So please you can private message me or comment below, personal app, and I'll be happy to connect you with that. I'll send you the invite on that as well. One other thing is, if you could please share this video, subscribe to this video or my channels and my pages, follow me, and share this info with whoever you feel could be using this info. That helps me a lot. If you can't or aren't ready to buy or aren't ready to invest now, one thing that does help us too is if you share this information and make sure others see it if they can. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate everything that you're doing, and anything that we can do to help you, please make sure to reach out. We'd be happy to do whatever we can. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.